Thanks for listening to the AZ12 podcast, proudly presented by Little Caesars. Code 1099 bundle, classic pepperoni or cheese pizza, crazy bread, and 2-liter soda. Code LCFREECC, free crazy combo with a pizza purchase. All right, Arizona beats the crap out of Baylor. What was the final score, 41-17?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was something like that. All right, hey, Cody, can you take that off the screen? Thanks. Let's start about it. This was a game that, I think at least early on, I thought, all right, this is going to be, this is going to be some game that's going to be like 44-41 or something like that. But as has happened pretty much all season, or at least a good percentage of it, guys, Danny Gonzalez figures out offenses, and he did just that. Baylor wasn't able to do anything in the second half.
No, and if you look, it's kind of been a theme for Arizona's defense and Gonzalez. The first couple of drives, you can see he's typically his base coverage, doesn't blitz a ton, sees what the other team's doing. And then if you look at Baylor's drives in the second half, punt, interception, fumble, turnover on downs, interception, turnover on downs, end of game. Like, they did nothing in the second half, the entire second half. So credit to Danny Gonzalez and the defense today for sure.
And this is also a guy. This is also a guy as well who you look at him, Ben, and I think a lot of people questioned, what exactly does Danny Gonzalez bring to the table? But man, everything that he's done has turned out to be awesome.
Yeah, and it certainly doesn't help when it comes to personnel, right? Just with all the injuries they've dealt with. I know Max Harris had a tough time, and just some of the other guys up front. And you worried about, okay, is Arizona going to be able to stop the run? What's that going to look like? Because there were stretches in this game, especially early on, and a little bit early in the third quarter, where Baylor was running the ball and they were doing a good job. They had that long touchdown, a play or two. But yeah, you got to give the coaching staff a lot of credit. Up front, they did what they needed to do. They made the quarterback uncomfortable. The DBs, obviously Johnson, we're going to talk a lot about Stooks, what he did, the big plays and turnovers that he came up with. But all around, this unit is playing really, really well. And when it continues to play this well, it only makes things easier for Fifita and the offense, who has really looked good the last couple of weeks. Things look easy. Arizona's able to run the ball. Throws are getting out quickly, right? The offense moves the chains without any issues, where that certainly wasn't the case a few weeks ago.
All right, Scotty Bin 1000. If you want to be a moron and keep sending the same thing, cool. Otherwise, we're just going to ban you. If you actually want to talk, cool. I already said that, and rightfully so, Brennan has done a great job this year. He does it one more year, and I would absolutely give him a real contract extension and a big raise. If you want to actually talk instead of just sending the same exact thing, otherwise, buzz off. Okay, now, when it comes to also, though, like the defense, though, and the way that he is able to get pressure time and time again it's pretty remarkable. And I think it really works as well because, I mean, they talked about it on the commentary multiple times. They talked about it and they said that, he's got an elite level secondary and he can take some chances because of that. And it's awesome to see what he's able to do there, Brogan, because that's exactly what he's doing.
Well, and what I like to see is, and the broadcast did a good job of highlighting this, where they had 2 D linemen and 2 linebackers holding hands 2 yards off the ball, 3 yards off the ball. You didn't know who was blitzing, but that's where Gonzalez is special as a coordinator. Is Arizona's not just lining up with 2 backers in the double-A gap, blitzing up the middle. They're not just rushing somebody off the edge. He disguises his blitzes really well. He blitzes 5, he blitzes 6, he'll blitz 7. And so I think for me, the best thing about him is Don Brown was the last time we saw a defense that wasn't super predictable. Then we had a couple years where it was really predictable. But with Danny Gonzalez, you don't know where it's coming from. The D-line wasn't going to be the strength of this team at the start of the year, and I think he knew that, but he's able to apply pressure in a bunch of different ways. And then when your secondary is the best unit on defense, it makes for what you see today.
It makes it a lot easier there, Ben One White.
Yeah, and again, like the secondary was flying all over the place, right? I mean, Baylor offensively, they looked comfortable there in the first half, but in the second half, there was absolutely nothing they could do. And to Brogan's point, obviously you were getting a lot of pressure, but there were even times where Arizona wasn't kind of bringing a lot of pressure. And Baylor had a lot of time to kind of stand back there and throw, but they just weren't able to make things happen. Dalton Johnson was kind of jumping in the middle of routes, doing a good job there on the edge. Stooks was all over the field, and Arizona's DBs just knew exactly where Baylor wanted to go with the ball, it seemed, 9 times out of 10 there in that second half. And as you know, when that happens, turnovers occur and just momentum completely swings on your side. And Baylor's wheels quite literally just fell off in front of them. It was so quick how it happened, and Arizona took control.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, Baylor, we joke about it. Well, maybe we do joke about it. Baylor was broken there in the second half. I mean, they basically gave up. And, obviously that's something that you're going to take every day of the week. Now, we need to talk about this. Arizona, you have to rank Arizona at this point, right? I mean, there's no way. You're 8-3 at this stage. You got a bunch of fake good teams in there, like Missouri's still ranked and things like that. But at the same time, with Arizona, I think I just don't know how they are not ranked after this, because this was a butt kicking.
Well, you're gonna have to start ranking 4-win teams ahead of Arizona if you don't rank them. But what were they, 34th last week in the poll?
Mm-hmm.
So, a couple teams lose, I could see them cracking the top 25 for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and Wilbur's asking that. The great Wilbur's Big Burner is saying, actually, I thought about it. But by the way, Eric Roth says something that I thought about. Every time Ben One White does the postgame show, Arizona wins. Ben One White, you are a very
it's good luck. Exactly.
You're a good luck. You are a good luck charm. Yes, we will take.
He really just decides in the fourth quarter if he's doing it or not.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Yes, don't worry, we're going to get to the special teams. We'll get to the special teams, but let's focus on the good right now.
Not so special teams.
Yeah, oh, gosh. Yeah, garbage. But, all right, offensively, though, as well, I mean, Noah's really clicking at this stage. Him and Seth Daggy are clearly on the same page at this point. What I really like seeing as well, and, super snaps, we'll get to those in just a second. What I really like is seeing is that Noah's climbing the pocket. And I think the thing that with Noah is, like, early on in the year, he looked a little uncomfortable in the pocket. You really weren't sure what he was doing. Now he's buying time, and when he's making plays and he's mobile, he's making plays. He's making plays over the middle of the field. He's making plays down the stretch. He's doing a lot of different things, and he just looks way more comfortable out there.
I think the offense looks a lot better too, right? Brogan was talking about the defense not being as predictable. I think this offense certainly has changed things up, where we saw a few weeks ago and even on early in the season where you felt like every 2-3 plays you knew where they were going with the ball. But whether it's running the ball, whether it's a throw to the outside that Hudson was making every incredible catch today, it just seems like they're a lot more comfortable. And I think with Fafita, he's obviously more comfortable with all of that, but at the same time, he's not trying to do too much. He's taking what the defense gives him. That ball is coming out in 3 seconds or less, which is exactly what you want if you're this Arizona coaching staff, just to move the ball down the field. And, it's okay to take that underneath, 6 to 7 yard gain. It's okay to hand the ball off and get 2, 3, 4 yards, because that's going to lead to bigger things opening up. And I think that's what you saw.
Right, Brogan.
Well, and Daggy alluded to this a couple weeks back, where Noah's finally getting comfortable in the offense to where 3rd and 8, you're not really stressing as a coordinator because you've got a ton of confidence in Noah to make plays. So that kind of opens up the playbook for Daggy a little bit. The running game has been on point all season. Now that Noah's starting to click, and in the first half, I mean, he was on fire.
Right.
Second half, he didn't have to be as good because Baylor was turning the ball over left and right. But I think it's a combination of, obviously, Noah. What we've learned with Noah over the last 3 years is if he has a competent coordinator, he's awesome. If he has a below average coordinator or a 7-year-old coordinator, then, he's going to struggle a little bit. But now that him and Daggy seem to be on the same page, you see Noah keeping the ball when he's supposed to keep it more often, handing it when he's supposed to hand it, even if it's 3 yards, making pass plays out of the read option. And so it's exciting to think about what Arizona can be next year with Noah, a full season, a full offseason to the offense. But this year, they're one win away from ASU from being 9-3, which nobody would have predicted at the beginning of the season.
Now let's also talk. And the cool thing about it, too, is even on some of the passes, the Chris Hunter pass into the end zone was a perfect pass. It just he was just straddling the sideline. No fault there. Then you had the one interception. That wasn't his fault. That was, right off his hand. So he's playing good ball at this point. And the running game. The running game has been a stable all year. Now, Joseph kept telling me all season, he kept saying that, they won't be able to replace Speedy Luke. Mahdi, what can Mahdi do? Mahdi's a stud. I got a question for you. Can Mahdi play in the MNFL?
Probably, and I think it's easier for running backs today to play in the NFL because every team has like 14 of them now. Like there's only a handful of teams that are going to play one running back. Every team plays 3, and 3 guys actually play. Right. But I wouldn't be at all surprised if he's in the NFL. That wouldn't.
Right, it wouldn't surprise me. Gary Brightwell's playing on Sunday because the Bengals have injuries. So
Now, Joseph, Joseph K. Roto 452. I apologize all the time and make fun of myself on the show. Mike, I think Scott is trying to say you haven't apologized to Coach Brennan, saying he's doing a good job as an. No, I said I will keep. You will get a full my bad Brennan if he does it one more year. That's right. He's clearly done an awesome job this year. He's done much better than I thought he would do. So again, you do it one more year, like Dennis Walsh says. I'm also old enough to remember last year. So you do it a third year or you do it a second year, you're going to get a full apology. But again, I'm not going to. That's where it is. I mean, he's done much.
And the bottom line is these things are fluid.
Right.
So it's easy to get to 8-3 and look back,
right,
and say Brennan's the best coach in the country, but we're only a few weeks removed from a 4-win season, a hot start, and then losing 3 games in a row.
Right.
So again, these things are fluid. Right now, are we all extremely happy with Brennan? 100%. Do we think we're going to be at ASU next or in 2 weeks or next week? Yes, 1,000%. Are we excited about next year? Yes.
Right.
But it's fluid. So
yeah, he does it
no
because
apology
if he wins 4 games next year, what are you going to apologize to me? I mean, so
is Brennan going to apologize to you?
Yeah,
no.
Yeah. So all right,
it is what it is. It's the fun of sport.
Yeah, that's part of it. Okay.
Stop giving the haters so much attention, Mike. Come on.
All right. Yeah, good point. All right, now we got super snaps, baby. Andy Bryant, back to Brennan, 499. Lance, 2911. Key was they milk the clock to end the first quarter, win 3 minutes and a TD to give the D a rest. Very good. Andre Veras, Ben one White. Ben one White, back to K, baby. $19.99, $10 super snap from JRAD NS. New Big 12 rule: you're not allowed to take your helmet off on the sideline. Bear down, back the A. We'll get to that. We'll get to that there in a second. Let's just talk about it now. That was one of the most bizarre things ever. I was looking at that when Chris Hudson got that penalty, the unsportsmanlike, and I'm like, oh gosh, what did he do? I'm sorry, man. Sometimes I know there's a rule, and I know that, but sometimes you also have to just go by what what it was meant to. And at the same time, he wasn't showing anybody up. He was literally by the stands at that point. It's things like that where I think you've got to exercise some kind of form of common sense.
Yeah, I think.
And if that's a penalty, right, then why are we not seeing that on every single touchdown in other games where guys score a touchdown, they run to the far side, the near sideline right there, take their helmet off immediately? Like, it's not something we don't see. The officiating was just bizarre, right? It felt like every other touchdown, every other score, there was some sort of unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. And to your point, Mike, you're far away from the field. You're nowhere near the officials. You're nowhere near other players where things could potentially go bad with a guy stepping in the way, something like that. That doesn't happen, right? No middle fingers, no vulgar language. I'm not quite sure what the officials thought out there.
Brogan?
Yeah, that one, it's a weak call. It's a ticky-tack call. But here's how I think about it is that's his touchdown celebration. His touchdown celebration was to go to the crowd and be excited. And he takes his helmet off in the middle of his touchdown celebration. He's not walking back to the bench and hits the sideline, takes his helmet off like everybody else does. Right. Again, I think it's like a really ticky-tack call, but I bet you if you look at the letter of the law, part of your touchdown celebration, take your helmet off, it's probably a penalty.
All right, there is one thing that I do want to complain about, and I think it's the weakest thing that I've ever seen, and it has nothing to do with Arizona because it took something away from Arizona. Let's get a couple reads in here, and then we're going to talk about that because I called Brogan as soon as it happened. It was very annoying to me. Okay. All right, what have we got? All right, now the Tucson Family Food Project, direct aid plus life skills development, nutrition, education, you name it. Currently 255 meal kits per week. 2026 goal, 1,000 meal kits per week. Donations made with AZ12 comment will be matched cumulative up to $10,000. Get in there and do something good for yourself. Check it out, Tucson Family Food Project. All right, now what do we got? All right, now, welcome to the Rock.
Sounds like a rock with asthma.
Yeah, Ben, that's actually good. That was funny. Ben One White, you try now. Do it.
There you go.
Brogan, what do you got? Very good.
I've been practicing.
I was going to say, yeah. Very impressive. Yes. 2 convenient locations, Tucson plus Green Valley, serving residents and contractors. 50 plus locally sourced landscaping material. East of Benson, Sierra Vista, west of Miranda, south of Nogales, north to Oracle. We very much like Mike Natowski. He is killing it on their Green Valley decorative rock. Welcome to the Rock. Okay. All right, one more. Come on. All right, yeah. RJ's Frozen Cactus. Red Hot beer or Red Hot Sports ice cold beer. Huge parking lot you can park a jet in. Home of the AZ12 watch parties. 100 plus craft beers, $2 deals, pizza, wings, tacos, burgers, and more. No bad seats in the house. We'll be having another one of these here soon. But check it out. And again, you can go there. You can watch MNFL. You can watch college football. You can do a lot of different things. It is a lot of fun, and they have very, very good food as well there. Check it out. RJ's Frozen Cactus. All right. There's something about officiating that very much annoys me, and I've seen this happen before. Maybe not as glaring as it's happened in this game, but glaring and annoying nonetheless. Every time a ball carrier has the ball and they are running and they get piled up at the line of scrimmage, the officials essentially allow them to just keep going until they're stopped. You see it all the time. I mean, you see it with the tush push all the time, and it's like, oh, just let him keep going. When Traden Stukes picked off that pass, and they said that the Baylor guy was, that he was down or whatever, or that his forward progress was stopped, that was crap. If that was that's not how it works. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what else to say. It's annoying and it continues to happen.
Well, in the NFL, they've made a point to where they err on the other side where they don't blow the whistle for nothing because they know review can go figure it out. So letting forward progression be the reason it may or may not be a turnover is the worst thing an official can do because you always have replay to bail you out. So, and you see it in college too. For some reason, though, they decided to blow a whistle in the middle of a tackle. Like the dude was getting picked up and tackled. He drops the ball and they blow the whistle. That one was bizarre. You usually don't see that because they usually let the play go and then replay can overturn it if it needs to.
Because, I thought that was the more crazy part, right? Blowing the whistle when the play was full on happening. I think everybody could see that, even if you were looking at it with half an eye. But, the forward progress thing, it's lame. Black and white wise, it technically is the rule, I guess. But that should have never happened. That whistle should have never been blown, and it should have been reviewed, and it should have been a fumble. It's unfortunate. There were a couple of those. There was some bogus pass interference calls, right? Dalton Johnson was getting a really bad break there early in the first half. And
which time?
Yeah, exactly. Kept Baylor in that game there, gave them some touchdowns that they probably shouldn't have had. But in the end, Arizona found a way to overcome it. But all in all, between the weird PI calls, that, like you just mentioned, the unsportsmanlike conduct calls that felt like every touchdown, regardless of what team it was just a weird officiated game.
Yeah, it was odd. So, but yeah, let's get back to some of the good stuff now. Now, I've beaten up the receivers for a couple weeks now, and I think that's I think the great Dennis Walsh put it very, very well. Dennis Walsh says, I wasn't offended by anything that the receivers did today. I didn't like that one drop other than the Spivey handoff, which essentially it was. I got to give Chris Hudson, though, a lot of credit, man. Chris Hudson looked like an MNFL wide receiver in this game. He was making some next-level plays. And you know what I've liked the last 2 weeks that we didn't see at all in the first part of the season? They're making contested catches. They're making difficult catches. It's not just the ones where you're wide open and it's just, being laid right in your hands. Brogan, they're going up and they are helping Noah Fafita out. It is nice to see.
Well, I think early in the season, especially in the losing streak, the frustration was we were dropping first down catches,
right?
Like ones where you've got a little bit of separation. But Hudson, the last 2 weeks, to your point, is making contested catches. He's making catches in traffic on third down to convert first downs. And that's something they've been missing all season. It's keeping drives alive. But yeah, today he definitely looked like a next level receiver for sure. And that's what, if they're going to be the issue, they're going to need somebody like that to step up again next week.
And that's what they were hoping. I mean, he was the guy that, he killed it in camp. You know what I like too? I think they're finally playing the receivers. Like, I can do without watching Watley or anything like that. It doesn't feel like, it feels like they're playing the guys that should be in there. And it's a mixture of younger and old guys, but it feels like they're starting to play the right guys from my point.
Yeah. I mean, Hudson's your guy for sure. And I mean, come on, Mike, the boring 5-6 yard passes over the middle, I think it was just too boring for him. Maybe he was just dropping those on purpose. Why catch those when you can have a 1 yard crazy catch on the sideline there? But no, I think the receivers have come to their own and figured it out. It just looks like everybody as a whole just looks more comfortable with the offense. I think with a new coordinator and just how bad things were last year and kind of making that transition with Daggy coming in. I think a lot of that goes unnoticed, unreported, and you just don't see a lot of that behind the scenes, especially early on in the season and even into early October, where we saw just complete hiccups in the middle of games where Arizona would be moving the ball, doing things well, whether it's on the ground or even in the area, but then there would just be bizarre little mistakes that would kind of pin you back and stall things on the offensive side. So you're not seeing that anymore. Hudson is kind of your reliable guy where you can just throw the ball up to him, and for the most part, he's going to be able to use his length and use his size to grab that ball and pull it in, right? And then you have other guys who you can kind of put out there and rely on at the same time. But no, Hudson's clearly your best receiver. And obviously him and Fafita have a very special connection.
Yeah, now everybody hit the like and subscribe button. Very, very much appreciate that. All right, we had 2 more super snaps come in. Let's see. Ruben Salcido, the great Ruben Salcido, $4.99. BTFD, appreciate you. OC Bodybuilders, who lived at Stone Avenue Standard when I was there. Good win, but this receiver unit collectively has the worst hands in a long time. Back the Ben One White. Yeah, back the Ben One White. Okay, yeah, they do, but they are playing. They're playing a lot better at this stage, so we're going to give them that. Now, the offensive line. I got to give Oglesby a lot of credit here. I thought last year was an absolutely horrendous job that they did. And this year, with a lot less talent, they're actually a lot better. And he's had guys that have been in and out. What I like about him, too, is I think they've kind of figured out that Rhino really isn't that good or whatever. I mean, he came in for a while, and I think he got a holding penalty or an unsportsmanlike, whatever it was immediately. But you're having have guys in there like Matthew Lotto and Michael Wooten, who nobody ever really feels comfortable about. But I say that, John Brogan, for this. You said make your Chuba point.
Yeah, it's really amazing that he played D tackle at Cal Poly, wherever he was.
UC
Poly.
Davis. Get it straight.
UC
We don't
Davis,
get names and we
Sorry.
don't get schools wrong or on this show ever.
I cut my knowledge off at D1. But he was a D tackle there, came to Arizona nose tackle, was okay there, but we chose him over Bill Norton, essentially, not exactly, but essentially that. Yeah. They decided to flip him to the offensive line in the fall, not even in the spring. And he turns out now he's one of our 2 best offensive linemen, which is insane. And he's a big reason why the running game is so well. He's nimble. Yeah. You can see him pulling, getting out on the edge. On one of Marty's touchdown runs, he was the lead blocker. So I think it can't be understated how impressive is that he was able to basically flip from nose tackle to guard and be one of the best linemen in a matter of a couple weeks, 6-8 weeks. So
all right. Yeah, I gotta get this. This is great. Too busy winning. This is humor right up my alley. I remember sitting alone in the entire row last year at the CU game. I farted and the aluminum vibrated. What a turnaround! Oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna take a picture of this. Ben One White, you can comment on that or what Brogan just said or both.
Well, that is a good comment. I will give you that. But no, the offensive line has played really well. You've had so many guys in and out. And I think it just goes back to, right, this offense just focuses on obviously establishing the run, and you're getting good blocks to do so. But, it's not like last year where whether you were running the ball, handing it off, or throwing a quick out, every single play took like 15 seconds in itself just to set up before Fafita was even throwing the ball. I mean, every play was like a delayed handoff. Every play was, let me hold the ball and run around for 25 seconds and just try to find a receiver open. I think it's coaching. I think it's scheme. And you talk about the running back position, obviously being able to kind of rotate and ride the hot hand. The offensive line, it's been the same thing, right? Just as long as guys are in there, they understand their assignments. You draw up a quick play, whether it's a run or a pass. Arizona's been able to do good things with all of that.
All right, now your good pal Dick Will, John Brogan, old buddy of yours, says John took Colorado and UCLA parlay on the money line. What's my chances?
Better than Dick won't, by the way. I don't like Colorado to win. I don't like Colorado to win any games.
Yeah. I could see UCLA winning this.
UCLA
game.
Could give Washington some fits for sure. It's at home. But I think Colorado's quit. I think I don't think they'll win another game this year. I think they've tapped out for the season.
Yeah, I agree. I hope I'm wrong, but I think that I agree. Let's see here. All right, now let's talk a little bit about all right. We need to talk about one thing that is a little concerning, though, and I don't know why this is the way it is. Why are our special teams in every single capacity so bad? It seems you got the Salgado Medina. You got to get a better kicker than him. I've never seen somebody where if it's a 32-yarder, he's probably not going to make it, but then if it's a 58-yarder, he's probably going to drill it. And then the coverage on special teams where like 4 guys interfered with the kick returner, and it's like what is going on here?
Well, the thing that surprises me is we've Havrasik, NFL player Havrasik, to Tyler Loop to this. So we went from having 2 awesome kickers to having the worst kicker in the conference, maybe the country. I don't know. There's probably one worse out there, but field goal kicking is an extremely tough job to do, but there's also so many good kickers. It's almost inexcusable to have a kicker that kicks 50% from field goal and 80% from extra point or whatever.
Yeah, I don't get it. Ben One White.
Yeah, and again, right? Like you thought Arizona kind of learned their lesson the hard way with Rich Rod and some of those other guys that we had doing kicking duties back in the days, and Brogan mentioned the 2 guys that we had, and now you're kind of at a point where you just don't know what you're going to get, right? He missed an extra point, which is just unexcusable. I don't care how far back it is. Even if there's a 10, 15-yard penalty, you're paid to make that. The coverage was bizarre, like you said. Seems like guys are out of place. They don't know quite where they need to be. And then just they're not playing smart, right? I mean, there's no need when a guy waves his hand for a fair catch to speed up and continue to.
And there was like 5 of them doing it.
Right. And it's like, this isn't Madden. Like, you can't just move the stick and suddenly stop yourself. Like, natural forces, when you're running that fast, you're going to fall into the guy. So I just didn't understand it. It's obvious, though, that just that side of the ball, we give Danny Gonzalez and Daggy and Brennan a lot of credit, but that side of the ball, I just don't think is very well coached.
Back the AMD says, great name. You says you got one job. Haha. Yeah, no, totally. Now again, we got to give and this really goes to show you too about the hiring and something that we got to give Brent Brennan a lot of credit about. Let's get a couple reads in here because we got to give him some real kudos for something that some real kudos. All right, Bridge Tech Communications. Now, if Dennis Walsh is in here, he's probably working out outside, and it's raining right now, and he's probably got like he's probably got like rain and like spiders and stuff. They're like in his socks because he's at a gym that does not use Bridge Tech Communications. If they utilized Bridge Tech Communications, they would have a better situation for everybody.
So he wouldn't have spiders in his socks if he used Bridge Tech, is what you're saying.
That's essentially what I'm saying. You don't want to have spiders in your socks, and that's because you're going to these rinky-dink gyms. And if you own one of those rinky-dink gyms, get with Bridge Tech Communications because they will get you out there. 750% average ROI. Check it out. They can help you market your gym or health wellness spa. Plus, Tony is the man. We love Tony. He's awesome. All right. What else we got? All right. Eris Dental championship package. Brogan, what did we tell you about Land the Man with the Master Plan? One of your brothers? We found out that Land the Man with the Master Plan was lying to us. This is not his sister. Wow, that's not something that you're supposed to do, correct, John Brogan?
Yeah. In the greater scheme of things, maybe that's everybody's sister.
Yes, exactly. Maybe it's AI or something. Who knows? Yes. But either way, this woman is excited about the championship package. I have had the championship package, and it was awesome. I fell asleep. It was so good. Daily urgent care, Monday through Friday. Now, they only offer necessary treatment. They're not going to take a spider that's in your sock and they're going to put it in your throat. They're not going to do any of that stuff. Check it out, though. Ask about the 1997 championship package because it's going up to 2026, my friends. Unfortunately, I don't think Arizona football can get into the college football playoffs, but who knows at this point. Arizona basketball, though, check it out. Yes. Okay.
I think we need another bullet, a 5th bullet that says "so good puts you to sleep."
Yeah, so good puts you to sleep. Yeah, no, that's really good. Yeah, now, Mr. Tyler Warden, the missus saw this woman and said she can't get the championship package. All right, Tyler Warden, well, you know what? You got to keep working on her with it. Okay, now, Foster Plumbing. John Brogan, this is your read. Tell us about your front pipe.
The front pipe is working just fine.
Yeah.
The white,
And-
it's the white front pipe you see
Yeah.
on the screen.
The
Now-
white front pipe, yeah.
Now, if the white front pipe wasn't working just fine, and there was a lot of issues there, you would call Foster Plumbing. This is true.
Very true.
Yes, Ben One White, you would do the same thing, correct?
Absolutely.
Yes, exactly. And it's 24/7 service. So if you find like the front pipe isn't working at some point, you got to say to yourself, man, it's 9:30, but guess what? They're always available. Yes, that's the great thing, because front pipes, they got to work 24/7. And you got all these kids in here that you don't really know what's going on, but Foster Plumbing is helping them out right by the U of A. Check it out. Foster Plumbing, quality work at a fair price. Boom. All right. Now, we got to give Ben one pipe. That's very good. All right, we have got to give Brent Brennan a lot of kudos here for his hires. I don't really know how else to put this. Seth Daggy has been a great hire. Danny Gonzalez has been a great hire. Let's start on the offensive side. Man, and also, too, without minimizing what Seth Daggy's done, because he's been amazing, how bad was Dino Babers last year? Just seeing, I mean, this is like going from like Braden Locke to Joe Montana. I mean, this is, I mean, you just look at it. This is just amazing.
Well, and if you start with last year, he acknowledged this. He spent a ton of his time re-recruiting the entire team.
Right.
And he got a majority of the players to stay. And so everybody was optimistic on how they would follow up the 10-win season. But then you saw the coordinators a few games in. I mean, we talked about this after the second game. I think it was New Mexico, whoever it was, where we were just like, okay, that's not what offense is supposed to look like with Dino Babers. Like, we may not know a ton about football, but we know it doesn't look like that.
I remember where I was on the phone. I was walking home from the game, and you're like, dude, I don't know a ton about X's and O's, but I know what it ain't supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And that's what it's not supposed to look like.
And, the thing about Brennan, where he gets a lot of credit in my mind, is him and Dino Babers are friends. Like, they're connected to the Arizona program and all those things, and he had to make a tough decision. But, he went out and got a younger coordinator. If you look at what Daggy did at Marshall, they ran the crap out of the ball. They could also throw a little bit. But then he went out and solved the problem, essentially. Arizona has talent. Like, I don't think that was ever really a question. But once you got him, and then obviously what Danny G's been doing. But Daggy, I think Daggy's offense has evolved to where, the beginning of the year, they would run some of those plays where it's like the read option, throw to the tight end in the flat for a gain of 1 yard on 3rd and 8, like that type of stuff. But now he's evolved because he's getting more comfortable with Noah to where just marching up and down the field and scoring tons of points where, it doesn't look like they're going to have trouble scoring no matter who they play.
And doesn't it look, Ben, like they're just so much more confident in what they're doing? I mean, it looks like, well, Ben, man, seriously, Ben, are you catching like a rainfall or like what's going on over there? Ben One White's very blurry. All right, Ben One White will be back. All right, but Brogan, I think you hit the nail on the head, is that it looks fluid out there. It looks like, we have a plan, and it doesn't look like everything is scripted or we're just going to do something stupid. How many delayed handoffs have we seen this year? Like 2?
Well, and the delayed handoffs this year are the read option where
Right.
Noah can make a decision to keep it, and so they're reading one of the defenders. I'm cool with those taking a little extra time, but what I'm not cool with is 3 people pulling, a fullback leading, and the QB holding the ball for 6 seconds before they give it to the running back, 8 yards deep.
Yeah, Ben One White, you're no longer 8 yards deep. You're back and you look good.
Perfect. No, I think it's all spot on what you guys were saying. I just think that this coaching staff does a better job of playing to its players' strengths, right? Whereas I think last year they wanted Noah Fafita kind of just to sit back there in the pocket and make things happen regardless of your coverage, your offensive line protection was not good. I think this coaching staff recognizes the pieces that they have and they kind of play accordingly to it. Whereas last year, we're going to run this set offense. We're going to do it this way. Whereas Daggy comes in and says, okay, Noah's really good when he climbs the pocket. He's really good when we get him on the move and throw the ball quickly. And they play to those strengths. And I just think last year you didn't see that. Personnel, certainly. I think this year you can make the case, especially on offense, it's not as good as last year. You lose somebody like T-Mac, no duh. But I think it just goes all back to coaching. And guys are getting more time in the system. They're spending more time with each other and these coaches, and they just look really comfortable, like you said.
Yeah, they look comfortable and they look like I said, and sometimes you can tell because every OC says they like their every OC just goes through like, well, I really love my coach or I really love my quarterback, this or that. You can tell there's a strong bond with those guys. And the thing with Daggy, I was watching one of Daggy's press conferences, not because I wanted to really look it up or anything, but I will say this: when I was looking at the press conferences, he was saying he's like, we're going to get this together. We just got to make sure that we are on the same page here because it's like when Noah starts trusting what he's seeing, and he said something to the effect of, he said, Noah's super smart. He said he's a very cerebral player. He's just got to let that, and he just looks right now. Let me ask you this. Is there a better, I almost said better point guard. Is there a better quarterback in the Big 12 than Noah Fifita?
Jeff Sims?
I mean, maybe at this point, I mean, yeah,
there's certainly not a better There's certainly not a quarterback that's playing better than him right now, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, is there off the top of my? I mean, I like Backmacker or whatever, Backmeyer or whatever his name is.
Bear
He's good.
Brockmeyer. Yep.
Yeah, is it Bear Brockmeyer or Backmeyer or whatever it is? It doesn't matter.
Bachmeyer.
I like him, but they also Noah's got to do more than. I mean, he's very good. He's also, but when I watch Noah, I think Noah's in charge of a lot more. He has to do a lot more than Backmeyer does. And Backmeyer's awesome. I'm not saying he's not. I think Noah's the best quarterback in the conference, and I'm going to say it.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Most of the other QBs, like if you look at Texas Tech, they got an awesome running game and an awesome defense. If you look at Cincinnati, we saw what Arizona did to, I already forgot his name, Sorsby or whatever his name is.
Right.
Dampier at Utah's been up and down. So it's like if you go down the list, Noah's been by far the most consistent. I think at the start of the season, Levitt was probably on paper the best QB in the conference, but we see how that's going. So I think it's Noah hands down at this point.
Ben one?
I would agree with all that.
Yes, exactly. Now, I think Dennis Walsh was very upset about Mr. What was I going to say? Noah Fifita earlier in the season, but Dennis Walsh takes the L on that one. Sorry, Dennis Walsh. He ain't worth David Rosen when we need him. Okay, now let's look ahead here a little bit. Arizona and ASU, and I think Skier did this thing where you can basically look ahead. You go into like a time machine, and they tell you, like, you know what, it's going to be a pick'em game. That's at least what he had. I was a little surprised by that, but pick-up game. Arizona, I'm back in the A on this one, man. I am back in the A. I believe Jeff Sims is going to come back to earth at some point, and there's going to be like a 25 turnover game. But right now, I think what's exciting about Arizona is that they are playing really good on both sides of the ball. It doesn't feel like this doesn't feel forced. This feels like something where Arizona is just playing really well.
Yeah, and look, I mean, obviously Levitt's gone. Jeff Sims is playing well, but at the same time, I don't think ASU's offense is anywhere near as dynamic as Arizona's, right? I think Arizona can easily put up 30-plus points a game, and you saw it today, especially when you force teams into making mistakes. ASU has had issues turning the ball over. Their offense has had times where things just haven't been clicking. So I love Arizona in this game. I know, it's going to be close, right, in terms of a point spread perspective, but I think far and away, you look at Arizona's offense, you look at ASU's offense, I'll take Arizona's offense all day with the way they're playing right now.
Brogan?
Yeah. So obviously I'm going to homer pick Arizona no matter what the spread is, because in the Territorial Cup, any team can win. It doesn't matter. There's been plenty of times where the worst team has won. What worries me about this game, though, is if you look at Arizona's last two losses, Houston and BYU, they just ran their quarterback 400 times and we couldn't stop it. Mm-hmm. And that's what ASU is going to do with Jeff Sims. He's going to run the ball 20 times against Arizona. They're not going to drop him back and throw it 40 times. So the good news is Arizona's got tape. They've seen what running quarterbacks can do or run heavy quarterback offenses, and so they'll be prepared. But that's the one thing that makes me nervous in this game is if they can't figure out how to stop the QB run, then it's going to be a long day for Arizona.
That's where they got to force the turnovers. You got to force turnovers in this game, and that's something that Danny Gonzalez, that's the other thing too. This squad has done such a good job of getting turnovers, like the entire year. I mean, last year, I think we have 4 or 5 more interceptions than we had all of last season already. It's something like that. It's a crazy number. And that's what happens when you bring pressure. Jeff Sims is a guy that turns the ball over a lot. I mean, even when they had his record-breaking game, he had 3 turnovers in that game. So it is You can turn the ball over. But that's the other thing too, is that this. I would be curious. Can somebody look up how many? Where Arizona ranks in forced turnovers this year? Because it's got to be fairly high.
They're number one in the Big 12 in interceptions.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And they had as many interceptions in the first 4 games as they did last year.
Yeah. I mean that speaks for itself there, Ben.
Yeah, it does. And I think it speaks for this matchup too. Tyler made a good point, right? When talking about Sims, the way he runs, it's not like BYU's quarterback who just runs completely down the middle and has size and can kind of have an advantage there. I mean, this is more of like a Avery Johnson, like K-State situation. We kind of saw what happened there. So if you can attack the edge and bring pressure, especially dial up some stuff where the DBs are maybe coming a little early on, or just somebody in the secondary who can kind of spy Sims, I think you're going to be in a good spot, because if you make them uncomfortable early and Arizona has an opportunity to go up, 2.5 touchdowns, something like that, they don't have the ability to come back from a deficit, where I think Arizona's got a lot more margin for error if they get down by double digits. ASU, I'm not so sure if that happens, they can do that.
All right. Oh, Lee Ferris, a 49.99 super snap. My friend Lee Ferris, you are the man, Lee Ferris. Football school. We are a football school, my friend. Thank you very, very much. All right. Now, Ben, I got to ask you a question here. Going into this game with Baylor, Baylor's best offensive weapon was their tight end, Trigg. Were you surprised when you were analyzing the tight ends? Were you surprised he wasn't being utilized more?
I'm always surprised that any tight end isn't utilized more, Mike. Come on now. That's a silly question. But no, I mean, look, in all fairness, no, he has been a key guy for them, and their offense has looked really good throughout the year. And you kind of look at their schedule, and I think they were even talking about this on the TV, where it's like, how are they only a 5-win team? Well, now you know why. They make a lot of mistakes. They turn the ball over. Their quarterback just starts seeing ghosts at times, it seems like. Our DBs played well, but there were just, when they were melting down, there were just some passes where it's like, what are you seeing out there? You're throwing it right to Arizona. So again, collectively, I understand why Baylor fans are certainly frustrated with the coach. And I know they came out yesterday and said he'll be coming back, because you have a lot of talent, and this offense has looked really good at times. And Arizona, to their credit, scouted it really well, forced some turnovers there in the second half, and they just went into a shell. There was nothing they could do.
Brogan, were you surprised by the lack of tight end involvement in this game?
Arizona, I don't even know if they targeted a tight end the whole game.
No. For Baylor.
He's talking about Baylor.
Oh, for Baylor? Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I don't think Baylor really knows what they want to do offensively. I mean, they ran the ball decently against Arizona, but everybody was hyping up. Like when I was watching the pregame for about 15 minutes, everybody's hyping up Baylor's quarterback and how they were going to score 40 points because they're going to be able to throw it all over the field. And I think they undervalued Arizona's secondary, and I think Arizona had a pretty clear game plan that they were going to try to at least limit what Trigg could do. Right. And, I mean, Shear was talking about this at the end of the game. That fool runs his mouth so much on every play. It's so annoying how much he's just yapping in everybody's face.
The entire game.
Not really doing much in the game,
Why? You don't do it now. Oh, Dave just messaged me. After a win, I always get a text from Dave. This is great. He says, 8 wins, pretty good deal. Play well, and they might just get that 9th dub. Really proud of Brent and his staff. Yeah, proud of you there, Dave Hickey. Proud of you. You're the man, Dave. All right. Yeah. All right.
Dave should start to get his Twitter going again. Put all this stuff out there.
We're pushing for Dave to get that. I need Dave to get that Baylor. I need Dave to get that Baylor AD position there. And I said Dave will clean it up, because you see what this Baylor AD was doing? He was like cheating on his wife and like doing cocaine all day. Like I can guarantee you that Dave will not do that.
Waco is a crazy place, my friend.
Yeah.
He at least won't cheat on his wife. No.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, yes, exactly. And in Waco, I don't know how many options are there. How many options are there in Waco?
Yeah,
they have a good time out there. It's a little in interesting
Waco.
Town.
Have you been to Waco, Ben?
I've been through Waco. You haven't seen the Netflix documentaries on Waco, Mike?
Oh, I've seen it. Yeah, for the Branch Davidians.
It's a wacky place.
Yes. Yeah, we need Dave to get back in there. There we go. All right. So, now let's. All right. Looking ahead then a little bit and talking about some awards. Brent Brennan. Listen, I realize that Sataki is probably going to get Coach of the Year, or I get it. No, but here's my question though. If we're just going with the better team, why isn't Joey McGuire getting it? Or if we're going for the team that has overachieved the most, it should be Dilly or Brennan, shouldn't it? Tell me if I'm wrong.
Why why Dilly though? They were predicted to
Yeah.
finish pretty high.
Because they've lost their entire team. They're winning games with Jeff Sims. Tyson hasn't played.
Yeah,
They-
and BYU lost Retzlaff, who was going to be one of the best QBs in the conference before the season started. So, like, whatever you say for ASU works for BYU. They had to replace players. They had to replace their QB. They're starting a true freshman who had never played in college before.
Fair enough.
I think with Texas Tech, the thing that's tricky for me is they haven't beaten anybody except teams in the same thing with BYU, but they were also predicted to finish higher. But they have no quality wins, kind of like Utah. No real quality wins.
Did they beat Utah?
Well, yeah. But if everybody's beat each other in the conference, that's the old SEC argument. How good are you if you just beat each other? You know, we don't really know.
Yeah.
Who would you guys give the advantage to?
I think it's Brennan simply
I do
because
too.
Arizona was finished in the bottom three. They were predicted to be in the bottom three. Some people had them predicted to finish last.
Right.
And
Ben
Brennan has overachieved the most over BYU, Arizona State, Texas Tech, Utah, whoever. So I think it's Brennan. Especially if they go 9-3, they beat ASU, they go 9-3 to end the year. I think he's almost a lock at that point.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, right, because to your point, like, it's so hard. Is it the coach that has the best season on paper? Is it the coach that overachieves, right? Is it the coach that overcomes a lot of bad circumstances like ASU? So that's going to be a big key factor. I think what works in Arizona and Brennan's favor is you're in a Big 12 conference where nobody's perfect and there's been a lot of ups and downs. So if you have 9 to 10 wins and you keep winning this way, right, you know, you're going to have a good opportunity to lock down that award. Now, you know, looking back, even in 2023, right, when Fish and Arizona had that great season, he didn't win it. DeBoer won it, you know, perfect 13-0 record. I guess it's hard to say no to that, but there's no team like that in the Big 12. And I think Arizona, the way they're playing and how things have turned around, you know, he's probably going to get it if he wins out here.
All right, Mr. Tyler Warden, this is a great question here from our future coach at AZ12 Prep. What do we need for this community to 100% buy into this team and Brennan? Here's what the problem with Arizona football doesn't all have to do with Brent Brennan. It's that every Arizona football fan that is lived that is basically, 40 years and up, you've witnessed anytime Arizona has a really, really good season, the next year they completely embarrass themselves. And that's not just with Brent Brennan. You can go with Tomey, you can go with Rich Rod, you can go with certainly with Brennan last year. You're always waiting for that next shoe to drop. That has always been the case. I hear what you're saying, but I think the best way to get this community in, and I'll just say it, is you win. If you win next year, I think it becomes a lot easier for people to say, okay, you strung 2 good seasons together. It's been forever since we've seen that. And then I think it gets a little bit easier at that point. But I agree with you, man. I don't know. Listen, man, I'm not totally sold on Brennan either, but I'm enjoying the heck out of what I'm watching. So I get what you're saying, but it's also, there's a lot of scar tissue in this fan base, Brogan.
Yeah, I think it's consistency that's going to really get the fans, because there's a whole bunch of fool me once, fool me twice with the fans historically with Arizona. So, you know, we said last week, Brennan's got to make a bowl game next year. I think if he goes 6-6, that's not going to instill a ton of confidence in the fan base where they're going to be, you know, showing up 50,000 deep at Arizona Stadium. But I don't think he has to replicate this season and win 9 or 10 games.
Just be
I think
good
if he wins
and don't embarrass us.
7 or 8 games, including the bowl game, makes a bowl game and wins 7 or 8 next year, I think the fans will start showing up early in the season next year until they lose 2 or 3 or 4 in a row. Then you're going to regress right back to where you are now. But I think he's going to start next year with the benefit of the doubt with the fans, and he'll be able to build momentum if they keep winning.
And Ben, the thing about it too is that he's not having to sell like this offseason. He was out in the community, obviously, but I don't think anybody really cared at that point because of what we saw last season. It didn't really mean anything. Of
course,
you know, it's like the guy that his wife or it's like, I don't know.
Be careful here. Be careful.
Yeah, it's a bad comparison. I don't want to get into that. Whatever. But yeah, you know when you see it. So if you do it again, I think it becomes a lot easier. Plus, this offseason, you're going to have a lot to sell. You're going to say, listen, we won 9 games. Who knows? Maybe you win 10 games. And at the same time, I'm also going to say that you win 9 or 10 games, and you got Noah coming back. A lot of different stuff. So I think that's where it becomes a little bit easier.
Yeah, and I mean we've seen it time and time again, right? Anytime Arizona has a 9 or 10 win season, they just flop the next year, injuries, whatever the case may be. So I think it's how you finish this year obviously is important. You know, the ASU game is huge. If you can get that win and then get a bowl win, that's 10 wins right there. But those first 4 to 5 games is going to be key, right? Because it's hard early in the year. You have every reason not to go in the sense that it's late, it's hot. Right now, you have no excuses. So if you can capitalize early on in the year and build that momentum and win some games, right, I think you'll see more people. Are the days of 50 to 55,000 people, though? I think those days are probably gone, Mike, if I'm being honest, unless something crazy happens. I just think that's the nature of the sport and the way things happen. But yeah, there's no reason why they can't get their fan base attendance number up to a respectable number if all continues. But we've seen it time and time again. And I think you've got to win 8, 9, 10 games next year and be impressive as well, you know, if you want people to come.
See, I disagree with the great Big 12 Bobby, and Big 12 Bobby is far more successful than me at life, so I will preface it by that. But I'm going to say this: what I said all off season was, "Don't embarrass me, and I want to be entertained." That's it. I disagree with you. I find the offense fairly entertaining, to be honest with you. I think it's good. I think they move the ball up and down the field. I thought today was great. I disagree here with Big 12 Bobby. What say you guys?
Yeah, they play up tempo. And, you know, I think with Jed Fish, it was much more of a deep down the field. Your big plays came from home runs to T-Mac, and you're throwing the ball down the field, things like that. This team is more of a run-heavy team. But the reason why it's entertaining to me is because they still hit home runs with the running game.
Right.
20, 30, 40, 50-yard touchdown runs every game pretty much. They bust a big run. So I think there's different ways to be entertaining. If you appreciate running the football, this offense is definitely entertaining. If you want to see a bunch of 60-yard touchdown passes, well, that's harder to do, you know?
Yeah. Ben one?
Agreed. And you're going to get it in both areas, like you said, the run game, the big runs, and then the passing game. I was entertained watching Chris Hudson. I don't know about everybody else, but there were times where he looked like Odell Beckham with some of those grabs out there. It was pretty crazy.
I'm gonna laugh when somehow Arizona has like 7 guys from this team drafted or something. It'd be really funny, just to kind of see how that one does play out. Yeah, the key is keeping the coordinators. Now, Patrick Miller, 9647. Yes. Big 12 Bobby says, I'm not more successful. I'm just a humble coach with a Final Four team. And you've won 2 national championships in your playing days, my friend, Big 12 Bobby. So let's not. Yes, Patrick Miller, the great Patrick Miller, 9647 said, the key is keeping the coordinators. Totally agree. We're going to get to that point in just a second, but let's get some reads in here first. We're going to pay some bills. All right, Longview. Now, there's a lot of fake rumors and innuendo going around that I accidentally endorsed Andre Veras the other day. That was AI. That was not real. And, again, I can assure you of this. Now, I will not endorse Andre Veras under any circumstances. But you should give Andre a call at 520-325-3456 and reference the AZ12 podcast for a complimentary initial meeting. And check him out at longviewii.com. And investing on your own, but it's not enough. Let's review your accounts, optimize your tax strategy, and give you confidence. Andre can do that. But, again, I will not endorse Andre Veras under any circumstances. That was AI. That was fake news. Okay. What else we got? Talk to me. All right, 88 Crime now. 88 Crime. Ben One White, you live in the mean streets of Calabasas. Do you ever see stuff where you're like, man, I don't want to get my hands dirty. I don't want to have to call Foster Plumbing or something like that, but I want somebody else to take care of, get these gremlins off the streets.
100%, and I will call the kind folks in Pima County to make the 7-hour journey over here to help me out by calling 88 Crime.
Yeah, Brogan, you live in the tough area as well on the north side. When you see things going on, do you ever say to yourself, man, I'd like to call somebody or get these people off my hands?
Yeah, usually I'm weighing, do I call 911 or do I call 88 Crime?
Yeah, when your house is burning down, 911 or 88 Crime or the fire department. What have we got? Either way, if you see somebody doing something they shouldn't be doing, call 88 Crime. They will do it. Call 88 Crime. Yes. Baylor, yes.
X gon' give it to you. He gon' give it to you. X gon' give it to you. He gon' give it to you.
Ben One White. Now, do you require air conditioning where you live?
You know me, Mike Luke. You've seen me on road trips in these hotel rooms. I do require air conditioning.
Yes, it's awesome because the great thing is that you can like turn it down to like 65 and it works. I do the same
63.
exact thing.
Yep.
Very smart people. All right, now 10% off is back. Mention the AZ12 when booking. Get entered into a Christmas raffle for a $100 gift card. And we can say this, Cody James Martin, they helped you out as well. This is true.
Yes, they did.
It's storming over here. What the heck? Okay. Yeah. All right. But again, I don't need air conditioning right now, but I will need air conditioning, free estimates, noise reduction. You name it, they got it. And again, let's see here. Mike, make sure you mention Bryant. Who's Bryant? I don't know. Oh, yeah. Guy who listens to the show, Bryant came up and recognized the lovely Shelby Shear and said they use Comfort X HVAC. We very much appreciate
nice.
that. Check it out. All right. Good. Comfort X HVAC, baby. Very much appreciate that. Okay. Now, the coordinators, they got to keep the coordinators. That's a big part of this. I will say that Brennan's hiring now. It does, if somebody were to poach them, it gives me a little bit more confidence. But at the same time, you really want to hold on to these guys for another year if you can, fellas.
I don't think Danny Gonzalez, I could see potentially getting a smaller, lower power one or lower level non-power 4 job just because he's been a head coach in the past.
Right.
Daggy, though, I think he was good at Marshall as a coordinator. He's been good 1 year at Arizona. I think you're still going to need 2 or 3 more years.
He
out
needs
of him
another year or
before he
two, for
becomes
sure.
a name
At
on the
least.
list.
Right.
Yeah. So I think maybe it could be Danny G, but he's also a head coach who got fired at New Mexico State. So it's like,
Right.
I'm not sure how much in demand he'll be yet.
Yeah, I think Gonzalez is a guy, right? He's obviously been doing this a long time. He knows the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And I think he, like a lot of these coaches, right? Most of them, they want to be here. They've said they want to be here at Arizona. So I'm not too worried about that. Daggy is still very, very green. So I don't think, a Big Ten school is going to come calling for him to be a coordinator, or a smaller school is going to come calling, for him to be a head coach, unless you see a couple more years out of this. So I think as long as you keep those two guys and then figure out what you want to do with special teams and some of these other areas, you'll be in good shape. Does that get addressed this offseason? I don't know. Does it get addressed next year in terms of extensions, relooking at things? Definitely has to if they have a year like they did this year.
Yeah, I think it's hard not to. I think it's hard not to make that case. Now, let me ask you this. What teams in the Big 12 right now are clearly better than Arizona?
Just Tech.
I agree.
Clearly, just Tech.
Yeah.
I think BYU's a little better, but we outplayed BYU early in the season.
Right.
But if we played BYU 10 times, that's 5-5, 6-4 type of thing. But Tech's the only one.
Do you put Utah in that same?
Yeah, Utah's on par with Arizona, but they're losing to Kansas State right now. So it just goes to kind of show how it's Tech and then kind of everybody else
Right.
is in that middle zone. I don't think Houston's better. I think Houston beat us on an early game at Houston, but I think
Arizona would beat Houston.
5-5, 6-4 thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. Ben one.
Agreed. Yeah, I think Arizona, if they had another opportunity, a possession or two in that game, they beat Houston. I think if they played Houston tomorrow, they would beat them. Utah, right, to Brogan's point, BYU has struggled with injuries, and I think Arizona wins that game if we just don't see some head-scratching coaching decisions there in that overtime sequence. So no, I think Arizona belongs right up there at number 2, along with any of those other teams outside of Texas Tech. I'm cool with putting Arizona out there, and no other team certainly has impressed. And you think about teams like Iowa State, Kansas State, TCU, and teams like that have just completely, not lived up to expectations. So Arizona's right there.
All right, now Arubio Barraza, wasn't that the name of a baseball player at the U of A as well, or maybe for the Diamondbacks as well?
Durazo.
Yeah, Rubio Durazo, right?
Yeah, not
Isn't that
Barraza.
what I just said?
Not Barraza. Durazo.
Oh, Durazo. Tomato. I'm just kidding. It's a different name. Okay. That's an interesting point. Okay, now the other thing as well, you've really got to give a lot of credit though, also on because they basically have an entirely new offensive and defensive line as well. I mean, yes, you had. You've got back. You got back Chuba, but I mean he's new, so it doesn't really count. Then you've got Buchanan, you got Bounds who's now out, obviously. Then you had to replace him with Lotto and Wooten, and you got DeCambra in there. And then on the other side of the ball, Deshaun McKnight has been a monster this year, and he's been. You look at tackles for loss, you look at everything he's done. They did a really, really nice job fortifying both sides of the ball.
And I think it gives you confidence that they're going to lose a few linemen this year. They're going to lose a few D linemen this year. I think it gives you confidence that they can replace them through the portal and through kind of their development.
Yeah.
The offensive line was, I would say, probably the biggest question heading into the year, just because of how bad it struggled last year, and they
Right.
lost what was
And they lost
perceived
really
as
good
talent,
players too. Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Right.
And so the fact that they were able to couple together an offensive line that dominates in the run game and is getting better in the pass game, you know, at the beginning of the year, we were calling for Ogilvy's head, but now it's like, okay, maybe there's something there where they can be effective kind of regardless of who they plug in there. I think DeCambra is going to be hard to replace, but again, if they can figure out how to make it work this year, I don't know why they can't next year. The D-line is interesting because they had people come out of nowhere
Right.
to be really good. Again, maybe the coaching staff knew that, through camp and whatnot, but a few more surprises, I think, on the D-line where it's like, okay, that might be a little tougher to replace.
Ben one.
And I think they've shown too, right? Just in the nature of the portal and the way things have gone the last couple of years, they've done a good job. Obviously, you're not going to get somebody like a Big Bill Norton probably, but they've done a good job of replacing guys and just finding guys in the portal and really prioritizing that. So I think they find a way to kind of replace some pieces they may be losing, stuff that happens. I mean, McKnight's certainly going to get another look at the next level. But to me, I think the most impressive part, and we've talked about it, is just that those DBs, right? I mean, Smith and Johnson and Stukes have really kept this defense intact because those have kind of been the three guys all year that you can really rely on. And Arizona's played a lot of good teams out there that pass the ball and like to move things through the air. And they've done a good job of slowing that down and preventing it. So I think you kind of have to give credit to the DBs, and then everything else just kind of falls in place on the line and makes it easier for them to get pressure, even if the personnel isn't the best.
Yeah, and then you look at that running back unit as well. There's a lot of young talent. I look at the running backs and I look at the wide receivers, and we just talked about how you're going to have to move, and we'll talk about Bruce Branch here at the end. But you look at it. You got a lot of good young talent there. Obviously, Ishmael Mahdi's moving on, but Risano's good. Quincy Craig, you have another year of. You've got the 4-star kid coming in. You've got the kid they're redshirting this year. I can't remember his name, but he's really, really good as well. Running backs are going to be fine. I also love the wide receivers, though, the young guys that you have. You're bringing back obviously you got a Trace Spivey. You've got a Gio Richardson. You've got a Mizell. You've also got a Chris Hunter that's playing a lot better ball at this point as well. You're going to bring some guys in. That's you've got no one's going to have a lot of skill position talent to throw to next year. It's just going to be about fortifying the lines.
Yeah, and he's going to be comfortable in the offense with the receiving core. Hopefully they do a few hands drills in the offseason so they can shore up a few of the drops. But to your point, skill positions, they're going to be fine. It'll be the offensive line. If they can run block, that makes the passing game, a lot smoother and a lot easier for them. If they can figure out how to run block, I think their offense will be kind of the strength of the team next year.
Right.
Whereas this year it's the defense.
Ben one.
Agreed. Yeah, I think that line is huge. And that allows whoever's coming in, right, running the ball just to get rolling like what we saw this year. And you don't need those explosive, 20, 25-yard runs every single game, but you just need a respectable running game, right, where the backs are averaging, 4 to 5 yards a carry. And as long as you can move the chains and not put so much pressure on your passing game, you're going to be fine. And I think, this year you see all the challenges, right? You see the receivers struggling on early in the year. You see all the changes on the offensive line, but yet they still play well. You see Noah Fafita kind of coming out of that slump that he had last year and just taking the easy play, getting more comfortable. You've got the system in place, right? It's a lot to go into an offseason and completely change everything, have different coordinators. You're not going to see that next year. So I think Arizona knows exactly what they want to do offensively. They have their identity, and you're going to see that carry on to next year, regardless of, who your receivers are, who your running backs are. You have the identity of what you want to do. So that just makes things a lot easier.
Right. And I think, too, with the Big 12, the one team that I do think is a little bit different, and, people are talking about the Big 12 and what they could do. Texas Tech's a team that I could see causing some problems in the college football playoffs. I think they've got a little bit next level talent there. The other teams, I don't necessarily see that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, what it takes today is you either have to have a lot of upperclassmen talent that you've developed that have turned into pros, or you've got to be able to get people in the portal who are pros, similar to what Dilly did last year, or you got to have a $25 million plus budget,
Right.
which is what Texas Tech did
Which
this
is what
year.
Tech has, yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're not going to go into the college football playoff totally outgunned. ASU could have very easily beat Texas, but in that game you saw the difference between Texas and ASU, just from a physicality standpoint, a size standpoint, speed, all those things. Texas Tech's not going to have that problem because they've got the money to build the roster. So, do I think they're better than Ohio State, Texas A&M? Probably not. But can they go win a couple games? For sure.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, Ben.
Yeah, and especially when you're able to score, the way they have been able to score, they have the talent. They've been tested against, somebody like BYU and Utah. So I would imagine, right, they're going to make some noise. They're going to be kind of that ASU team that, kind of slips through the cracks. A lot of people just aren't paying attention to them in those early round games, and they're going to find a way to go further than they should. And you're going to be like, wait a minute, why is Texas Tech here? And then you're going to do a little bit of research, on the outside looking in and realize, how much money they have going into their football.
It's a little bit
program.
different. Yeah. They don't care about revenue sharing.
Exactly. So, no, I would imagine they're going to be right there. Nobody else in the Big 12 even gets that look for me.
All right, now we got some basketball news we need to get to as well. First thing, though, I want to give a massive shout-out to Caleb Love. Caleb Love had 26 last night. It's awesome. Caleb Love is the NBA, or the MNBA, is now seeing the full Caleb Love experience. It's great. Like, his last 4 games, he was 1 of 7, then he was 7 of 13, then he was 2 of 9, then he was 9 of 20. It's awesome to watch, but honestly, he's clearly going to be in the league for a long time. It's pretty cool to see.
Well, and it's good for Arizona. He had a bad rap in college coming to Arizona. You have all your Goodmans of the college football or college basketball landscape that were like, oh, he's limited. He can't do this, can't do that. Shoots his teams out of games, all those things. But for him to come to Arizona, buy in fully to what Tommy was doing, and then get major minutes in the NBA as a rookie, albeit it's for Portland, but he's still playing, scored 20 a couple times. It's a selling point for Tommy if you're maybe not Caleb Holt because he's going to be one and done. But if you're a portal guard, Caleb Love's a great selling point if you're Tommy.
Oh, my mom is in here. My mom says, Janet 9116 says, yeah, that's your Caleb, Mikey. Thank you, Mom. We appreciate that.
Mikey.
Yes.
Mikey.
Yeah. You're to my superior, John Brogan. Okay, now, Ben, it's pretty cool to see, though, my Caleb really killing it right now.
My Caleb, Lowry, whoever you want to name, right? Even Ayton has kind of picked up the slack a little bit for LA because they don't really have anybody else. It's really cool to see all these guys in the NBA doing what they're doing.
All right, now let's talk Bruce Branch here in a second. But, we got a $4.99 super snap from the great Jerry Bush. The live experience was in the Corona del Sol?
Casino.
Casino del Sol. Yeah. The U of A students showed up. Yes, that was awesome to see. Very, very much appreciate the $4.99, the super snap, my friend. All right, Bruce Branch, the consensus number 1 player in 2027. He has reclassified to 2026. I would be fairly surprised if he does not end up at the University of Arizona. He can go absolutely anywhere he wants. Take it for what it's worth. But Trilly is saying that it's Arizona and Kansas. Arizona's got money to spend. They've got an in-state kid. I expect him to end up here. What do you guys think?
I got to be careful how I say this because
you don't have to be careful. Nobody's watching. Who cares?
It's not going to be the Cam Williams situation, but it's going to be the Cam Williams situation.
Yeah.
Bruce Branch is going to go to Arizona unless somebody just throws $4 or $5 million at him. Then he's going to have a decision to make. And there's teams like Louisville who are going to have a ton of money to throw around. Obviously, Kansas wasn't Branch Compton Magic for a while, Adidas affiliated, whatever. Right. So that's their angle clearly. But it's the same thing with Arizona basketball in general. When you're a local Arizona kid, I don't care that you went to Prolific for a year or two. When you grew up in Arizona and you're a public school kid like he was, you typically grow up as an Arizona fan. You don't grow up as an ASU fan, certainly, but you grow up as an Arizona fan. And when Arizona prioritizes those guys, 90% of the time they're going to Arizona.
Ben one, what do you think?
Yep. Arizona is very particular who they go after. And we've seen this time and time again. Every single year with Tommy Lloyd, there is a Cam Williams example. And every single year that plan gets taken care of, right? I think Branch is the plan. I think he's the focus, and reclassifying is just a step closer to hopefully some good news, Mike Luke.
Yep, I would agree. And generally, I think this is the thing as well. People need to understand that Tommy's generally not ever caught with his pants down. I mean, this is a guy that generally has a backup plan. Remember how pissed off everybody was when the crappy Nemhard, and then they ended up with Jaden Bradley instead. Boom. I mean, it just kind of is what it is. So we will see. I would expect that decision to be a little ways off. Plus, they ended up with Caleb Love as well. So wanted to give a little bit of a heads up there. But let's get a couple reads in here and let's get back to football because we are a football school. Talk to me. All right, Copal, Tucson's contemporary Mexican food. We're going to have another watch party here shortly. Copal, Mexican food delivered nationwide. MyMexicanMenu.com. Use code AZ12 for 10% off. Now, book your next large party or corporate event with Copal. Large party packages available. It was a very, very good time. We're going to be having another one of these soon. Very, very cool. Very much appreciate all of you that showed up. Tucson's contemporary Mexican food, CopalTucson.com. All right. What else we got? Baggins, don't go in there and order the Dennis Walsh special, but go in there and use code AZ12 for 15% off. 12 Arizona locations, locally owned and operated. All food made in-house daily. Every sandwich comes with a chocolate chip cookie. Join the VIP text club. Text Baggins to 877-797-0444 for specials and deals.
It's a nice little Thanksgiving sandwich there, Mike Luke. Might be a good
it looks good.
to try that, yeah.
Yeah, no, it looks good. What is that, like turkey and pesto or something?
Stuffing, turkey, cranberry sauce, all the good stuff. Yep.
Yeah, yummy in my tummy. Can I get
sundown.
you to say it, Ben? Ben, can I get you to say yummy in my tummy?
Yummy in my tummy.
There you go. All right, good. Yeah. Okay. All right, not just a football school. We always talk about it. Baby boomers, they all procreated after they all got back from World War II, and they're like fighting in the trenches and like the Maginot Line or whatever it was. This is going to have the same impact. You get this shirt, your lady is going to want to have children because of how excited she is by this shirt. Get this shirt right now. Not just
Is that why you're not wearing that shirt, Mike Luke?
Yeah, I can't wear it.
You're not
right
ready
now.
for that yet?
Yeah, I can't wear it right now, that's for sure. Not just a football school, though. AZ12 podcast, my friend. You'll get very excited about it. Boom, 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 boom. All right, code 1099 bundle. Little Caesars, by the way. You get a classic pepperoni or cheese pizza, crazy bread, and 2-liter. We need some real times from all of you. We just need some real times. And code LCFREECC, free crazy combo with any pizza purchase. All right, guys, this was a butt kicking. At the end of the day, Baylor came in here and took Arizona kind of a half to figure them out, and then Arizona just beat the crap out of them in the second half, fellas.
Yeah, they had 330 yards of offense or whatever and scored 41 points. So it's a testament to the defense, turning them over a bunch. And outside of the first two drives for Baylor, right, they got the field goal late due to the turnover, but outside of the first two drives, you never really had a thought that, okay, Baylor's about to turn it on. Once they got past the first half, then it was lights out.
Right.
Ben. Yeah, and look, I mean, Arizona had every opportunity or every reason, to be frustrated, especially with the way that game started, some of those bogus pass interference calls and some of the officiating, all the stuff we talked about at the beginning of the show. But it didn't matter. Arizona was hitting on both ends, and you got to give them a lot of credit, right? The offense was clicking. Noah Fafita continues to play his best football. The running backs are doing what they need to do. The offensive line, despite so many challenges, they're getting blocks. The defensive line, same story. They're finding ways to get pressure. You got to give Danny Gonzalez a lot of credit. And I just think it's a combination of the players and the coaches just really coming together and saying, hey, we're going to do the best with what we have, and we're going to find different ways to win. And I think a big part of that has been, forcing turnovers and just tightening things up on defense. Arizona's done that the last 2 weeks where, they force some turnovers and the entire game and momentum just completely swings their way, which only makes things easier for the offense that's been playing good for a while now. So Arizona's playing its best football, and it's playing its best football at the best time.
Absolutely. All right, now, everybody, we will be back with you on a Monday. Get me some Little Caesars real times, everybody. We need some Little Caesars. If you're going to be staying inside because it's raining and stuff, no better time to have some Little Caesars. Good deals going on. Okay, for John Brogan, for the great Ben One White, who is batting an undefeated record when he comes on the postgame show, we very much appreciate your luck. We should call you Ben Luck White. Yeah,
I'll take it.
All right, yeah, either way. All right, very much. Oh, super snaps, real quick. Got to read it again. Got to read them again. Hold on. Nobody leave. Got to read these super snaps. Okay, 499 from the great Andy Bryant. Back to Brennan. Yes. Let's see here. Let's see. I'll tell you afterwards. Key was when the $5. Key was when they milked the clock to end the first quarter. Went 3 minutes and a TD. Went 3 minutes and a TD to give them the DRS. Very true. 1999 from Andre Veras. Ben One White. Yeah, okay, good job. Appreciate you, Andre. Now, JRAD NSN. New Big 12 rule. You're not allowed to take your helmet off on the sideline. Bear down. Back the A. Appreciate you, man. All right, now Ruben Salcido, PTFD, bear down, baby. All right, now OC Bodybuilders, good win, but this receiver unit collectively has the worst hands in a long time. Back the Ben One White. Terrence Wilmore, refs sucked. Bad calls and unsportsmanlike penalties after each touchdown. Also, good job, Brennan. I was on his neck, but he's done a good job. Recruiting looks good. Very, very true. All right, Andre Veras again, $9.99. Can we avoid the Sun Belt? I know beggars can't be choosers, but nobody wants to go to El Paso, that's for sure. All right, back the AMD. My brother is claiming national champions, as he should. Lee Ferris, $49.99 Super Snap Football School. Lee, very much appreciate you, my friend. Very much appreciate you. Jerry Bush, the live experience at the Casino del Sol was electric while he had a Corona in him. The U of A students showed up. Boom. I very much appreciate you as well, my friend. Okay. All right, everybody, we're signing off, though. Again, appreciate all of you. For Ben One White, John Brogan, Cody James Martin behind the scenes, I'm merely Mike Luke. You've been listening to the AZ12 podcast.
We're a football school.
We are a football school.